Hey Huskies, welcome back to the Now. It's been a year since we've seen you all and a lot has happened since. A worldwide pandemic, the rise of many social justice movements, a change in presidency, there has certainly been no shortage of things to talk about. As far as Naperville North, things are slowly starting to return to normal. Over half of all adults in Illinois have at least one shot of the vaccine. Sports are back, even if some are a bit out of season. There will even be a prom and senior week. We're also back in school 5 days a week. For more information, check out the Naperville 203 homepage. From all of us at the North Star, have a great rest of your school year and enjoy this month's edition of the Now.
Coming up on this month's edition of the Now, a look into upcoming senior events, Naperville's plans for outdoor recreation this summer, and your monthly sports update.
Good morning, Huskies, and welcome to this month's edition of the Now. From your Advanced Media Lab, I'm Peter Harrison.
And I'm Julia Putman. This spring, many senior traditions will still be held with some changes. Nora Fitzgerald investigates what May holds for North seniors.
Thanks, guys. As we near the end of the school year, senior events are in full swing. Though they will look different this year due to COVID-19 precautions, junior and senior boards and student government are working hard to make sure that Naperville North traditions still happen this year. Ellie Rancic, a member of senior board, talks about what she has been doing to make this year special for the seniors.
We've been trying to plan a lot of the same events that we normally have, just like a little different. Like some of them are outside now, or most of them are like masked. So we still have like the hypnotist assembly that's going to happen outside. Senior celebration is still happening, and then we've been working with junior board to help plan prom.
On May 8th, Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen will host this year's prom. It took a lot of planning to figure out exactly what prom would look like this year, as the event will have to follow CDC guidelines, yet still maintain student interest. As of right now, prom will have a limited number of people per room and include a photo booth, trivia, a main entertainment event, and a formal dinner. A key factor to a successful prom will be to make sure that it will still be the memorable experience that seniors have looked forward to during their time at North. Although this year's prom will have a different feel and no dancing, Leroy still thinks that it will be an enjoyable event.
I think it's a great opportunity for students, this senior class, to be together in some way and to celebrate one another. And yes, it's going to be different. However, I feel like the junior board and administration are working really hard to put together something that's enjoyable.
Instead of being in March, as it was in years past, Air Band will take place on June 2nd. The long-held tradition where seniors grab a group of friends and put on a performance for the school will still have to obey COVID-19 precautions. Shay Doshi, a member of student government, talks about the main goal of this year's Air Band.
Obviously, we have to follow social distancing stuff on the stage, and there's going to be limited people that are in the audience and stuff like that. But I think like the major part of Air Band, which is like the spirit and the school camaraderie, is going to stay largely the same. And so that's really what we're shooting for during the event.
There's no denying that the class of 2021 has lost a lot throughout their senior year. Even though these events will be different, they will still capture what it means to be a Husky. Until their graduation on June 6th, the seniors still have a lot to look forward to in their final days at Naperville North. From the North Star, this has been Nora Fitzgerald. Back to you guys.
And now for our monthly news brief with Beth Carlson.
Thanks, guys. In an ever-changing year, the North Star is keeping students informed with our newest segment, bringing you the news you need to know. Locally, with a new school board elected on April 6th, District 203 is starting to plan for next school year. Superintendent Dan Bridges has said that students will be in person 5 days a week next year, unless the district receives contradictory guidelines from public health officials. Elementary and middle schools in the district are already back to a normal schedule, with students eating lunch in the building while socially distanced. Although that does not seem likely at the high school level this year, Bridges has said that he is optimistic that all schools will return to a normal schedule come next fall. On a state level, the Illinois House of Representatives passed the Teaching Equitable Asian American Community History Act on April 14th. The act would require public schools to teach Asian American history, and if passed by the state Senate, Illinois would become the first state to require a unit on the subject. The act comes in response to rising levels of hate crimes against Asian Americans since the start of the pandemic. In national headlines, Derek Chauvin, the Minnesota police officer involved in the killing of George Floyd, was convicted on all 3 counts brought against him, including second-degree murder. Last summer, Floyd's death drew national attention and outrage after a video surfaced of Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes after Floyd was suspected of using a counterfeit bill. The conviction is seen as a step towards accountability for crimes committed against the Black community by police officers. From the North Star Newsroom, this has been Beth Carlson. Back to you guys.
As COVID vaccinations continue to increase, plans for more outdoor activities around Naperville continue to be made. Andy Hanrahan looks into what students can do this summer.
Thanks, guys. With warmer temperatures approaching over the next few months, recreational activities are becoming more available to residents. Last summer, many pools, parks, and events were shut down due to coronavirus concerns. But with the right measures in place, Naperville plans to offer a wide variety of activities to the community. Last summer, ever-changing COVID numbers restricted access to many popular Naperville spots. Natalie Meerman, a senior at North and a lifeguard at Centennial Beach, told us how she felt about having to close for the summer of 2020.
I think working at the beach is one of the best working experiences you can have, especially as a teenager. Obviously, with COVID hitting, everything got pretty serious really fast, and we kind of just got completely shut down.
The Naperville Park District has also been subject to many obstacles in opening recreational facilities and opportunities around the city. Brad Wilson, Director of Recreation for the Naperville Park District, offered insight on preparing for this year's events while keeping COVID safe.
Well, really, all of the various programs and events that we typically offer during the summer, we plan to have those back this year. That includes opening Centennial Beach once we know what the guidelines are going to be from the state. Again, that might be reduced capacities. But all of our other programs, events that normally take place during the course of the summer are planned for this year. They just may look a little bit different than what we've had in the past.
As vaccinations increase and restrictions loosen around Illinois, the hope for a normal summer continues to emerge. Tommy Pulser, a senior at Naperville North High School and a lifeguard at Saybrook Racquet Club, is hopeful that the right measures can contribute to a fun summer.
The less quarantine we'll have to do, the smoother the pool's going to run, and I think a lot of the adults will be vaccinated, so I think there's going to be a lot less worry this summer.
Both public spaces and private pools are subject to guidelines that may continue to change before the summer. At the moment, guidelines state that pools can operate at 50% capacity and that many public spaces can remain open. Although COVID put a halt to traditional summer activities last year, Naperville residents have an enjoyable season to look forward to. This has been Andy Hanrahan from the North Star. Back to you guys.
We now go to Maggie Berry with your monthly sports update.
Thanks, guys. I'm Maggie Berry with your monthly sports update. With the impact of the pandemic, some sports had to postpone their seasons, and many traditional fall and winter sports are now playing in the spring. Tessa Devine finds out how this has impacted players at North.
Thanks, Maggie. In the beginning of the 2020-2021 school year, IHSA postponed most fall sports due to COVID-19 and rising case numbers. However, postponed sports have finally been cleared to play a modified spring season, but due to multiple seasons happening at the same time, practices and games look a lot different this year. We took a closer look into how student athletes feel about playing their regular fall sports in the spring. Girls volleyball, boys soccer, and football are a few fall sports that have been required to start their seasons 6 months after their regular start dates. Pablo Jara, a senior and goalkeeper for the boys varsity soccer team, explains what has been the most challenging part about playing his last season of high school soccer in the spring rather than the fall.
I think the biggest difference between those two seasons is definitely the weather. Usually in the fall we come in and we start off with really warm weather and really nice sun, and we end off with a really rainy and snowy season, typically during the state tournament. But this year we came in, it was really cold outside, took part in our mental play to get over it, but I think there was definitely a difference.
Differently from boys soccer, girls volleyball is played entirely inside, which instead causes them to face mental challenges. Sophomore Paige Lauterwasser, an outside hitter for the Husky girls volleyball team, explains her perspective on this season.
The biggest difference is definitely just the shorter season that we have. It really just makes us have to focus a lot more and take advantage of opportunities that we have because we don't get many. So just using the most of our time is really what I feel is the biggest difference.
Not many people will get to experience a sports season amid a global pandemic. And like the girls volleyball team, North's football team is not letting this hold them back. Quarterback for North's football team, sophomore Aiden Gray, explains his initial feelings when he learned that they would be having a season, even if it was in the spring.
I was really excited. I didn't really care how it was. I just really wanted to play. And I know, me and as a team, we just want to get out of the field as soon as possible and play.
Across all these fall sports, students can agree that their teams as a whole feel very close and more connected, even in the midst of an irregular season. They are making the most of every practice, game, and moment as they know they are very lucky to be able to play this year. Pablo Jara expands on this idea.
I think we definitely got a lot much tighter, especially during practices. We knew that we had just a couple practices here and there, so I think as a team we bonded very well, and we were more of like a family this year.
Despite student athletes having to play outside their regular seasons, they are enjoying a chance to get back to some normalcy and participate in the sports they are passionate about. This has been Tessa Devine from the North Star. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tessa. Many sports have now concluded, such as boys soccer, football, and girls volleyball. Last Friday, the football team closed out their season with an exciting comeback win over DeKalb by a score of 40-34. Boys soccer finished their season with a record of 10-2-1. Naperville North girls volleyball finished their undefeated season with a final record of 10-0. Some sports will continue into May, including baseball, softball, and lacrosse, with several upcoming games. Boys baseball plays DeKalb on Thursday at 4:30 at home. Girls track will compete against Mattia on Saturday. Good luck, Huskies. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Maggie, and that's all for this month's edition of The Now. Be sure to follow the North Star on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and check out our website at nnhsnorthstar.com. From the North Star, this has been Julia Putman.
And Peter Harrison. Have a great day, Huskies. We'll see you next month.